on the 27th of February, I did a video titled, Will Omari Hutchinson turn down another call up for the Reggae Boyz? And that didn't went down too well with the support base and also with some of the YouTubers. And in that aspect, I got a lot of backlash surrounding this particular player. Some said I hate the player. Some said I don't want to see the player in the team. Some said I'm trying to show in the local players instead of this player. And this player is far, far better than the local players. That is the concept. Now, I for one, I did not do any video after that because I know what I know. And I won't go in this to and from with people. I'm not going to do that. No, specifically, a lot of people call me out on the situation. I have no problem being called out. But you see when something does not shed light in the right manner. So for example, I was called out then, but no would have realized that what I said was actually true. Those same persons who called me out, I don't want an apology, but they did not speak on the truth. Now this is what happened. Oh, before I get to that, before I get to the details, please guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're here for the first time. Grimson announced his Nation League squad, and I took it up to say, you know what? I want to understand what's the situation with Omari Hutchinson, and I want to shed more light on it. Omari Hutchinson was a part of the 60-man roster, and that is when I asked the question, will he turn down another Jamaican call-up? That was when the 60-man roster was released. Now, when the Nation League squad was released, he was not in the squad. Guess what? He came up with another reason to not be in the squad. Now, since then, an article came out with Omari Hutchinson stating that he actually denied call-up for both Jamaica and England. And in my view, many persons also will not like this statement. But in my view, that is definitely an aspect of shifting the blame or saving face. That looks like he's saving face because he wants to keep his options as open as possible. No, I'm going to quote exactly what he said in that article. Exactly. I'm not going to use paraphrase. I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm going to quote exactly what he said. But before I do that, I want you guys to listen to what Grimson said about the player and the player's absence. And I'm going to cut in every now and then and speak on some of the aspects or speak on some of the things that Al Grimson is saying for clarity, and also explain to you guys why I believe that at this moment he has no interest. Let's listen to this.
Go ahead. Coach, question about a player that the fans have been asking about for a long while now, Omari Hutchinson. Question is, did he receive a call up or what's the latest update on Omari Hutchinson since we haven't seen him now in a long while?
Now, again, a player that we are monitoring, we are in contact with. So a good question. I know the fans.
The coach said this is a player that is monitoring and is in contact with. When I did that video, one particular vlogger said that one of the previous call, the player was not actually called. And I know for a fact that the player got a call. I know for a fact that the player got a call. And the player stated that he wants to focus on what he wants. I think at that point in time, he was doing a transfer from Chelsea to Ipswich Town, and things didn't went well with the transfer. But he did get a call during that time period. That particular person said, hey, he didn't get a call. No, listen, this is not me. I have no issues with the player. But what I'm trying to show you guys is this. Sometimes when we are so in love with players, where the players, they can't do anything wrong in our view, especially a player that we highly rate, We create all different type of excuse for these players so they can get away with anything. And I want, just as though we want to have the JFF being held accountable for everything that they do, just as though us as bloggers have to be held accountable for everything that we do, the players must be also held accountable for what they do. Let's continue with what Algrims is saying.
Have been asking about him. So we had, or I am in contact with the family. They said, as you remember, we're not hiding anything. They said that he wanted time before he wanted to come back to national team, because and this time he said he wants to focus on the promotion fight, and after that he will take the step for the national team. But he's
so he says that he wants to focus on the promotional fight, and then after that he'll take a step to the next team. I want you to listen to this. No, Ipswich Town, they are in a promotional fight, but other members of the Ipswich Town team would have gone on to play international duties. Are you saying that those players also are not focusing on promotional fight? Fair enough. So what I'm going to read now, I'm going to read a part of the article. I'm going to read a part of the article, one of his quotes. Let me read one of his quotes. This is one of his quotes. Let me just read his quote specifically. So this is what he said. I got called up for both England and Jamaica, but I said, look, for me, I want to leave internationals out for this season and focus on getting promotion. No. In the England first team call you up and you turn that down. England first team call you up and you turn that down. This is the dream we're talking about, you know. This is a dream. But when I read further now, I realize, So I read further. There's a lot of games and my body's quite sore as it's my first season in men's football. How can your body be sore? How can your body be sore when you're not even necessarily a regular in the team? You're not necessarily a regular in the team. So how is your body sore? Yes, you're super sub, basically. I should have done this before I started with. My apologies on this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to showcase you guys, because he's a super sub. So I'm going to showcase you guys how many appearances he's had in this season. Let's have a look. So this season, he's had a total of 36 appearances. And most of those appearances, let me tell you how many full 90 minutes you'd have played. So 90, that's the last two, I've seen 2 90s, 187, so basically 90, 3, 4, 5. So roughly around 90 minutes of football. But his body's sore. So basically the other players that are playing, their body's not sore as well. No, fine. He gives a good reason saying that he's young and this is his first season playing senior football. So that's understandable. So he wants to focus on Ipswich Town people. Want to listen keenly now. So I said, fine. When initially I thought that it was England first team and he turned the message, strange. So when I continue to read now, so they asked what level he was called up for England. He said, I'm not sure. It's either the 20s or 21s. I couldn't tell you. They didn't let me know, but I got called up and then the Jamaica first team as well. Very interesting. This is the part that is quite interesting. So you find you don't know then call up. You just yesterday then call you. Fine, because I know you did that part there. Fair enough. But initially when I said England first team, would he have said the same? I highly doubt it. Maybe, but I highly doubt it. So he said basically they asked him what's his decision going forward. He said it's a tough decision. Me and my family are always talking about it, and I've got a lot of time to think about it as well. As long as I'm doing well at my club, football, the chances are always going to be there for both. But as I said, it's difficult and I don't want to choose yet. So I just said, leave me out so I can focus on Ipswich. This is the important part that many of you guys should just listen to it. Think about this now. As long as he's playing good football at his club, his chances for playing international football will be available for both. So all of those you guys who are so cemented that he's coming to play for Jamaica, even the same vloggers that called me out, we saying that this player is going to play for Jamaica. This player is telling you that at this point in time, he's leaving his options open. Why do you think he's leaving his option open? I'm not saying anything is wrong with doing that. But when people call me out for saying that the player is not committed and said I'm sending a false narrative, that's where I find it baffling, because I'm saying that it's very interesting that you want to say I'm creating a false narrative when the players not come himself and said that. But guess what? These persons won't highlight these things because it will not suit their side of the story. Now let's continue to hear what Al Grims is saying.
Really now focused on getting the promotion for Ipswich. He wants to purely focus on that, and he feels like it's enough for him at the moment as a player to be doing that one thing at this time. So
fine, he wants to stay focused. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing at all is wrong with that. But we have so much players in our team right now who have aims, who have things to focus on other than coming and play international football. Either they're trying to make Premier League, or they're trying for promotion, they're trying for European spots, and they can definitely turn down the same thing. Mikel Antonio, who actually a player that must be managed extremely well because of his injury record, his age, and all these things, is coming to play just the same. And you're 20 years old, in your prime, not even prime, you haven't hit your prime as yet. Listen, it's me. Definitely people are going to say, MG, why all of this? All of this is for supporters. Let me show you something. I'm going to bring up so these are this is sentiments by 3 supporters. He can show up when he wants and when the fans say when the fans say so. Club career stability comes first. Club career stability comes first. Sorry about that. Let me just, because it kind of not sure. Club career stability comes first when you are only 20. Interesting. Very interesting. So the other 20 years old who are playing football at this present moment, they should not choose. They should not go and play for their national teams, or choose to play for a national team, or anything in that order, because they should just consistently focus on club career, because that is the only thing that matters. This is Cyan All. 3142. I think most of you guys would have known Cyan All. It's always in the comment section. Vloggers spreading fake false energy. No, this was when I did the first video stating that Omar asking the question, will he accept the call up? This was from me doing the first video. Said vloggers always spreading false energy. No, 2 weeks down the line, no. I wonder what is his statement, or what does his sentiment state. Only idiots think this would be the last chance since he have not peaked as yet. So what he's basically saying that is, we should wait for him to peak, then we should call him. Make sense? These are the same persons who said that. These are the same people who are saying that get the players from their young and captain them from their young, so that we can build and grow with them. But yet still, these are the same persons also saying no, that they can come whenever they feel like. Okay, so you're telling me that when Al Grimson prepare his side to play for the 2026 World Cup, and in 2025 Al Grimson have a solid team to push for push to go into the World Cup, you're saying that January 2026 all of these players can just jump into the team right away. Doesn't matter the situation, and disrupt what the coach is trying to do. Come on, think, people, think. So let's go to the next one. Let me see the name. Martin Baker says, so players should not handle their personal issues as a young player. Change your questions. You guys are driving the fans with your lie and hypocrite takes. One Omari Hutchinson, one Omari, best under 21 player. Very good, very, very talented player. Won't dispute that. What lies? What hypocrite? What hypocrisy? What is? I don't understand. Everyone has personal issue. Senior players, young players, middle-aged players. Everyone has personal issues. Everyone has things dealing with. Even right now, just look into yourself. You have a lot of things dealing with. What does that say? The world stops and wait on you? No, it doesn't. Cyan Hall, no, Nitro, the great Nitro. Hutchinson can do whatever he please. Listen to that. Hutchinson can do whatever he please. You are one of them who hug up the quota for U20s. No, see what I speak about Hutchinson, you know. Them gone to quota for U20. So basically, what should I answer to? Should I answer to the Hutchinson can do whatever you want, or if you answer to the quota? So this is how some of the time them put in 4 or 5 different statements in one just to deflect. This is a deflection method. He was an England U17 and U19 player. We don't want them when they are young, so they have all right to wait on England. But he would be one of this Nitro would not be the same person who say that capture them from them young so that we have them in the future. And now he's saying that we don't want them. So it's very funny is that the JFF is now, or the algorithms is now trying to get this player at 20 years old in the team, trying to capture the player, get the player in the team so that 2026 we have probably a player that is in his prime. So apparently based off what Nitro is saying here is that what algorithms is doing, he's actually saying exactly what algorithms is doing. He's saying that we don't want them when they are young. But that's exactly what the coach is doing, getting the player at 20 years old. So Nitro, sometimes this is how these people just twist and turns everything in different aspects. We just not understand. Sometimes some of these supporters, and funny enough, you know, many times some of these supporters, when you come in a comment section, and this is 2 weeks ago, you know, this is before the announcement, you know, and now since the announcement, I'm quite sure many of them might kind of look into it and say, you know what, this might not actually be what I think it is. But sometimes, because we have, I realize that if it's a player that we like, all rules and all situations, every context go through out the door, because they have all leniency because it's a player that we like. But whenever it's not a player that we all like, there's no leniency. The player is just not good enough. We should just bin the player and get rid of the player because we don't like the player. But anytime it's a player that we love and it's a player that we fantasize regarding to football about, they have all the time in the world and they can come whenever they feel and whenever they choose. That's according to the same fan base. Maybe it's not all the fan base who think this way. I'm quite sure not all the fan base will think this way. But certainly, many of them do have this type of mindset. And I also believe, based off the attacks I've gotten, even from vloggers, even the vloggers have the same mindset that these players can come whenever they feel like, whenever they choose. The player said himself, I'm going to read it last time. As long as I'm doing well with my club football, the chances are always going to be there for both, playing for England and Jamaica. But as I said, it's difficult and I don't know what to choose yet. And that is clearly stating that this player has not made his decision as yet. And I'm telling you, if the Copa America comes and this player is not in the squad, there's still going to be excuses for the player. I remember this now. Copa America is doing the summer when no football is going to be played. Only the transfer window. And maybe we're going to hear that he's sorting out his transfer. Tell us what you think in the comment section. People big up on themselves all the time, every time. I don't like this. I don't like foolishness when I see it. People are going to cuss me feet. I have no problem with you cussing me for it. I'm going to speak it as I see it. And I'm going to explain, make me bring all the details, everything go put on the foot. And bring all that context. Everyone has reasons not to be in the club, in the national team at this point. Every player that called to the national team has reasons why they couldn't or shouldn't be in the team. Because they can explain that I am doing this, I am doing that, right. But it all boils down to the individual. Big up on yourself, people. Smash the like button, hit subscribe button, and I'll see you guys again. Until next time, MG Sports TV. And you can bash me in the comment section now. I have no problem with that. We can manage it. Just big. MG Sports. Big up on yourself, people. Massive respect. All right. God bless. Every time. All the time.